Hey family, this is your transformation and empowerment expert, Keith Sagers. And our message for the day is centered around the concept of peace and faith. How do we maintain our peace? How do we maintain our faith in the middle of the most troublesome circumstances maybe in our life? How do we maintain our faith? How do we maintain our peace when there seems to be chaos literally happening all around us? Right? How do we maintain our peace and faith in the middle of our storm? And I think the best way for me to kind of illustrate maybe how this works is to simply tell you a quick story. So there was an old man who was in the winter years of his life, and knowing that he was very much in the winter years of his life, he decided that he wanted to commission an artist to come and paint for him a very special painting. And so the artist comes to the old man's house, and then the old man simply says, listen, I need for you to paint for me something that illustrates peace that surpasses all understanding, right? Peace that surpasses all understanding. And so the artist agrees, and he goes back to his studio. And now this is not just any artist, he is a world-renowned artist. So for him, creating something that illustrates peace that surpasses all understanding is not a difficult thing for him. So he begins to paint what is no doubt a masterpiece, and he brings it to the old man, and he unveils it very proudly. And what the artist drew was a picture of a mountain, a majestic mountain. If you see this mountain, you will literally be at awe. He drew it at a time where the sun was setting, so it literally lit up the top of the mountain. Truly majestic and powerful. But the old man looked at the painting and he shook his head and he said, no, that's not it. So the artist went back to his studio and he began to paint another masterpiece. And so he brings it to the old man and sits it down and unveils it. And this time the artist drew a meadow, not just any meadow. But this meadow was the epitome of tranquility. The skies were the bluest of the blue. There was a crystal brook that flowed through the middle of the meadow. And the old man looked at the picture again, and he shook his head and said, no, I'm sorry, that's not it. And now you can imagine the artist is, he's frustrated, right? He's angry, his ego is bruised. So he goes back to his studio the third time, and this time in his rage and his anger, he begins to paint. And when he finishes, he rushes to the old man and literally slams the painting down and says, here. And the old man unveils the painting himself, and to his shock and awe, he is startled by what he saw. Because the artist drew a picture of a raging, horrible storm. Where the sky was purple and black, there's lightning that literally shoots across the page. You can feel the wind and the rain literally picking up and howling across the painting. Just chaos all around. And as the old man continued to examine the painting, he notices in the very middle of the painting that the artist drew a tree. And on the limb of that tree, in the midst of all this chaos, there was a small bird fast asleep. And the old man looked up and he said, that's it. He said, that's peace that surpasses all understanding. You see, when we go through life and we have chaos that seems to be surrounding everything we do, right? Our lives simply seem to not be able to get ahead. It's like every time I take a step forward, life pushes me back 6 steps. It's like every time I try to create a new opportunity, the opportunity closes or it's not available for me. It seems like everything I do to get ahead is just not working, and everything seems to be crashing in at one time. And it's in those moments that we truly find out what we're made of. It's in those moments that sometimes we start thinking to ourselves, well, maybe I should just give up. It's too hard. But let me tell you, it's in those moments where you absolutely cannot give up. It's in those moments where you find your breakthrough. It's in those moments as you're going through the fire that you refine and you're perfected. It's in those moments. And I get it. It's like, there's so much going on in your life. Like, I know what it's like to go to bed at night and you don't want to, go to sleep because then you have to wake up to deal with the stuff you have to deal with the next morning. You're like literally wishing that the morning wouldn't come. Things happen in life, and I get it. Maybe you're in a situation where maybe you've lost your home, maybe you've lost your car, maybe you've lost your job, your finances are in shambles, your relationships and your family seems to be falling apart. Like there's chaos all around you. And so there are three things that I need you to understand in those times. Three things. Number one, I need you to remember who you are. Who you are. Number two, I need you to remember whose you are. You belong to somebody. And then number three, I need you to remember that you've already come through more than most people would ever go through in their life. And you've overcome it. You see, who you are matters. How you see yourself will determine how you see life and everything else around you. Your attitude dictates that. Attitude is everything. And so if you're going to have and choose an attitude, you better pick a good one. Because who you are somebody that's powerful. You are somebody that's resourceful. You're somebody who can move and get things done. Number one, you're somebody who is persistent. And you're strong enough to weather any storm that comes your way. Whose you are, I said you belong to somebody. Your creator didn't just create you for no reason. He created you for a purpose. I like to sometimes think that God is like holding a slingshot, right? And sometimes during these times, he's holding his slingshot in one hand and then he holds my life in the other. And so what he does, he puts my life in the band of that slingshot. And so every time something happens that is out of my control, or I feel like I'm in this place where I'm constantly losing, maybe you're battling depression and anxiety, maybe you're just battling all kinds of things, but you're in this moment where it just seems like everything is being taken away, right? You're being pulled back from all these different things, all the things you want. It feels like you're getting ready to lose them, and so he's pulling you backwards. And the thing you have to realize is that in these pullback moments, there are lessons to be learned. Catch this. You have to learn something in the pullback moment. It's in the pullback moment that you begin to get clear on where you are supposed to be going. Sometimes God's pulling you back in order to show you and to test you and to prepare you for what he's getting ready to do. And what he's getting ready to do is release you. And as he releases you, literally, you are now slingshotted at the velocity that's going to push you into your greatness faster than you ever thought possible. Like, that's how he operates. So in times you feel like you're losing, he's just getting ready to release you. He's getting ready to release your life, and you're getting ready to see something absolutely incredible. But the only catch is you cannot lose your faith. And then lastly, I said you have to remember what you've already been through and what you have already overcome in your life. And see, when you start to think about things that you've already overcome in your life, like there are times you may have said, I don't know how I'm going to get through it. And that was like 5 years ago and you're still here. You got through it. You see, you have more power, strength, and resolve than you may think. And as you know, storms are simply temporary. Sometimes those storms are there just to simply remove the things out of your path so you can now walk in power. So ladies and gentlemen, with that said, I need you to just do that. I need you to walk in power. Remember those three things. Remember who you are. Remember who you belong to. And remember what you've already overcome in your life. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, the world is waiting on you. So don't be late. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.